And today we'll be talking about a powerful tool to help you eat better. And I think one of the reasons why this is important is part of the three-step program that I've been following is to not diet. So if you watch my last video, which we'll link here at the end, I talk about how diets typically fail for most people. And so the idea is just to incrementally eat better over time. But then the question ultimately becomes, thanks, Captain Obvious, but how do I eat better? And that's not always necessarily easy. There's plenty of labeling problems in the US, like things that are literally marked healthy or vegan or whole grain or whatever. And then you like look into it and you're like, that is not really all that healthy. And then not to mention, I think you have people who just have maybe a skewed view. And we've talked about that in previous videos from some of our family members, like who would think a cheese pizza is heart healthy? but you might. So, and quite honestly, while we're saying all these things that you might be thinking, we've actually learned a couple things using this tool as well. And Jesse's the one who found the tool, so I'll let her introduce it.
Yeah, so I actually learned about this app. It's called Yuka, and maybe you've heard about it too. But I heard about it on the radio. I looked it up and found it to be amazing. I shared it with you, and you were like, "Really?"
Yeah. And it's, if you like do a little bit of Googling on this, and even on YouTube, there's quite a bit of content out there about it. So it's not brand
Yeah.
new. We're just boomers. Sorry, boomers, not really, but that's our inside joke when we do a boomer thing. And we're just figuring this out now. So
Yeah.
we wanted to share it with you because we've had, I think, some success with it. And I think it can help you kind of, I don't know, pull back the veil on the mystery of what you're actually eating.
Yeah, so here's basically what it is. It's a free mobile app, so it goes on your phone. It allows you to scan food, the barcodes, the UPC codes on the back of both food and beauty products. Although we're not going to talk about beauty products, we'll just talk about the food
She's
products.
naturally beautiful, so we don't need to talk about that.
I'm so lucky. So, thank you.
You're welcome.
But then also, it's to what you're doing is you're scanning the UPC code on the back of the product, and it's going to tell you what kind of impact it has on your health. So if you scan something and it comes out negative, it actually provides recommendations too for something that might be healthier. So I thought that was really cool. And then, and one thing that is important to note is that it's an independent company or project, which means that they do not take any kind of ad money or anything like that.
Sponsorships. Anything
Yeah,
like that.
sponsorships. It's 100% user funded. So they really have no financial reason or motivation to take on, take somebody's side, take a product's side.
Yeah. So, and then I think the important thing is like, where do they come up with their data, right? And so I just wanted to kind of go over, it's actually a French organization. And if I can get my phone open here.
And it's just a small group of people. There's like 12 people or something, right?
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that there's scientists in their group. And I think for sure, at least one of them is a nutritionist, like PhD level type. But here's where they're getting their data from to basically make their recommendations. It says the opinions of official organizations such as the SCCS, which is the European Scientific Committee for Consumer Safety, the ANSES, the French Agency for Food, Environmental and Occupational Health Safety, the ANSM, the French Agency for the Safety of Medicines and Health Products, CNRS, French Center for Scientific Research, the IARC, International Agency for Research on Cancer, as well as independent scientific research, international scientific databases like TEDx, Skin Deep, SynList, etc. So one of the things that I like about it is a lot of it is European. Mm-hmm. And I think the one thing that we can safely say in the States that Europe is doing better than us is food safety. Because
Absolutely.
we have, I mean, we'll give you some examples here in a minute, but just like the intentionally misleading labeling here, and what we consider safe that are literally banned. I mean, some of our ingredients in these states are banned in Europe, and we're still eating them here. And then we have the obesity crisis.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of the ladies that I talked to, and we've actually quoted her on our first video together, AR Fit Coach. She is actually from Slovenia, and I was talking to her the other day actually on a call, and she said she was just trying to find plain a dark chocolate.
Good luck.
And when she read the package, she was shocked because, dark chocolate in Europe is different than here. The first ingredient on our dark chocolate, well, on much dark chocolate in the United States, is sugar.
Yep.
And so that's one thing that she's struggling with right now. She's stateside right now. And that's one of the things that she's struggling with is finding healthy American food.
Yeah, for sure. So again, it's just a simple app on your phone. You can take it right into the grocery store. And if you're looking for a particular product, like, I don't know, let's say Greek yogurt or something, scan 3 or 4 different ones and see which ones have the best rating. And then it'll give you some, and we'll show you an example here in a second, but it'll give you like the rationale on why this one's better than that and whatnot. And we'll talk about the rating criteria here in a second.
So the way that Yuka actually grades or rates all of the products within their app is on a 0 to 100 scale, 100 being the healthiest and 0 being bad. Then it also rates nutritional value, which is...
Right. So like the nutritional value would be like your sodium content, your fat content, your calories per serving, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. And then additives.
Yeah. And for additives, they look at, they rate them. And the additives are the things in food labels that have those long words that nobody can pronounce. So they're ranking them by hazardous additives, moderate risk additives, and then low risk additives.
Mm-hmm. And then they give a 10% bonus to any food or product that has a organic origin.
Yeah, so what we'd like to do before we wrap up the video is just like kind of go through a couple of things that we've learned using the app and give you an example so that you can have a little idea of how it works before you try to download it and go out and use it. But so number one, this goes in that category of, learning something that you didn't realize. When I very first started this, eating better, we came across a recipe that we were eating that called for tzatziki. And there was a recipe to make it yourself. It's with Greek yogurt and cucumbers, lemon, garlic, whatever. And the batch we made wasn't bad. It was our first time ever trying it. But then we realized you could buy it pre-made in a store. And I was literally only looking at the calories per serving. And I was kind of comparing it in my mind to maybe that ranch vegetable dip that you can buy. And I thought to myself, holy cow, tzatziki is a cheat code. You can eat vegetables and there's barely any calories compared to this ranch dressing. So I'm going to eat this on everything. And if you look back in all of my old videos, I was eating this stuff by the truckload.
Yes. All of his snacks, all of his meals had something with tzatziki in it. But what you discovered was...
Well, what I discovered is one time I have the Yuka app and I go to the store and I scan it and I'm like, ruh-roh. The one that you can get at Walmart is bad, and the one that you could get at Aldi is poor or something like that. It's terrible. So tzatziki is probably very good if you make it yourself, fresh,
probably
with real ingredients. But it's just an example of, I think, that misleading labeling, right? Tzatziki is good for you, so I'm gonna buy it and eat a lot of it, and then you realize it's not so good for you. So that's an example. I think another example we have, and I brought a couple things here with us, but when I first started this, I realized that I was going to get hungry, right? So I wanted to get some protein bars or something to help me when I'm at work, because I work in the emergency department, and sometimes you don't have a chance to really stop for lunch, or it might get delayed, whatever. And so I wanted a quick protein bar. And so I started doing just some random internet research on protein bars, because there's a million of them out there. And I have tried RX bars in the past, and the one that I kept seeing commonly in all the different articles was RX bar. So I was like, usually ranks toward the top, and it's common in most of these articles that I'm reading. So I'm just going to go ahead and go with that. And I've tried them before. They're really chewy because they're mostly made of dates. But once you kind of get past that, they're all right. And so I was eating these, the chocolate with sea salt RX bars, because this was actually one of the varieties that was commonly cited in these articles I was reading. And they're pretty good. It's not really a candy bar, but it does the trick. And I think it does a good job from a protein bar perspective.
I liked it because it was sweet.
And it is sweet. It can be almost like a candy bar substitute.
Yeah, it really could be.
Yeah. So, and then one day I went to the store and they didn't have any. And so I started scanning all the other different protein bars, and I came across Lara bar, which I had never tried before. It was like a blueberry something Lara bar, and it said it was excellent, so I bought it. Now here's the rub: we eat all those. The next time we go back to the store, they don't have the blueberry Lara bars. Well, I'm thinking Lara bars are excellent, so I just get this like humongous variety pack of all these different things like cookie dough and chocolate chip and
All
peanut
Lara
butter.
bar. Yeah.
All Lara bar because they're excellent. Well, that's not necessarily the case, and we'll kind of throw it up here on the screen. But like you can see with the RX bar, Yuka recommends the blueberry RX bar, which we actually have a box of those now, right? And then with the Lara bars, they actually recommend the blueberry. And it's not that the others are bad. They just maybe have less sugar or less sodium, something like that. And so, all things being equal, if it costs the same and you like it the same, why wouldn't you eat the one that's better than the one that's not as good? So, if you're interested in protein bars, we've started an affiliate link on Amazon. We'll link it in our description. You can help us get that YouTube private jet money by buying a box of RX bars. All right. Next up is peanut butter. So this one's kind of interesting. And I think this goes to the point of, while we say the Yuka app is powerful, and I think it is, especially if you are wondering how the heck to navigate the grocery store, it's also not a brainless thing either. You do have to put some you have to put some thought into it.
Yep.
So I'm in the store and I'm scanning peanut butter. And so one is organic Smuckers, and this actually comes up to be excellent. It gets the bonus for the organic, obviously. And then I have, again, if you go back in my menus, I have been putting this stuff in like everything probably since the beginning. And the actual organic peanut butter rates better. This is like poor, and the other one is excellent. And I'm like, why is this poor and the other one's excellent? And I start looking at it, and I'm like, this says it has kind of high on calories. Okay. But this is higher on calories. And then the PB2 has more sodium, but the organic peanut butter has sodium too. And actually the organic peanut butter has fat. So you really have to do some thinking it through, because I don't think that one is necessarily worse than the other. It's just obviously one's more processed, the PB2, I guess. But you're losing that fat. But so you just kind of have to think through and give an example. A lot of times they rate sodium, at least from what I've seen, sodium fairly aggressively. If you're not on a sodium restricted diet, or if you're like Jesse and you have a tendency to have low sodium, eating something with high sodium occasionally is not necessarily a bad thing. And especially if like all you're eating all day long isn't necessarily high sodium, having something high sodium, just drink some water. It'll flush the sodium out. You'll be fine. So,
and not all fat is bad.
Right.
And so the fat in this organic peanut butter, so this organic peanut butter is something that I eat.
Yeah.
I eat it with bananas for pre or post workout a lot of times because I just enjoy it better. So there's a lot of fat. I just have to be conscious of that.
Yeah, and it's not animal fat. That makes it better too. And then I think our last one here now, I do not eat either of these, so I'm going to let Jesse talk about them because this is some serious.
So for carb loading,
yeah.
When I do carb loading stuff before races or before a long run, it's normally, or you're just looking for something to kind of fill your belly. And I don't shy away from carbs because I know that with the kind of working out that I do with running in particular, it's good for me to have carbs.
Yeah, and carbs aren't bad for you either. Carbs are the fuel that helps you burn fat.
Yeah. So I got these, and because I've seen these a million times, with people using them to either put peanut butter on or eat by themselves or, put an egg on it or whatever, avocado. And so I scanned this and it said excellent in Yuka. And then I scanned this and it said poor.
Yeah, and again, here's like more stuff on the labeling. Just think about this. So it's rated poor, but it says 5 grams of whole grains per cake. Well, that sounds good, right? Gluten-free. Well, that's got to be good. no artificial flavors. So, and then 50 calories up in the corner. So like all of the packaging other than the caramel goop here, which kind of leads you to believe that, you know, it might have a higher sugar content, but all the packaging is designed to make you think this is a health food. And we're not even necessarily saying it's terrible.
Right.
But it's just interesting how food companies can get away with this kind of marketing in the States versus other places.
Absolutely.
So hopefully you found this helpful and maybe can download this app and start using it to help you navigate the grocery store and start eating better on your weight loss journey. And
yeah, we know this is not the only app out there too. So, but we've found it extremely helpful. But if you have one that you've encountered or that you use that you think is helpful, then please drop it in the comments and we will sure check it out and everything. And maybe some other people in the audience will too.
yeah, I'd like to try some of the others, and just if we find any of them as helpful or better, we'll certainly make a video on that one too.
Yep.
All right. Well, hey, we appreciate you watching. Consider a like and subscribe. I can never get that. There we go. That's cool. And until next week, or until Saturday, actually.
Yeah.
Just remember to move more, eat better, and lift heavy things.